blanket handy for practice today. All right, so to begin, we're going to start seated. If you have your blanket, you can have it folded in half and sit right up on the edge of it in a cross-legged position. If you don't have a blanket, sit directly down on your mat. And then bring your hands to your thighs. Allow your eyes to fall on a spot ahead of you, or close your eyes completely. We'll start to center in on your breath. So take a breath in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring your hands to heart center, press your palms together, and set an intention for practice. So during today's practice, I offer the intention to be aware of your body sensations and release all judgment. This is an excellent way to start to learn more about your body. So can you be present and aware? So take a breath in together. And exhale, seal your own intention. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. For today's first pose, we're going to take square pose. So if you're seated up on a blanket, stay up on the blanket and sit right on the edge. And a couple of options. So square pose number one, you're going to stagger your feet, one shin in front of the other. You'll notice that you're starting to pour your pelvis forward as you're coming to the edge of the blanket. Option number two is to stack your left ankle on top of your right thigh. And then let your shins be parallel and flex your feet. So option one, shin in front of shin. Option two, bring your left ankle on top of your right thigh so you're stacking your left shin. Now, you might come into square pose and your left knee might be up really high. As long as there isn't any pressure on the insides of your knee, that's okay to stay there, or you can step back to the shin in front of shin position. So everyone's going to look a little bit different. And then bring your hands by your side. Start to sit up tall. Ground your seat down into the ground. Lengthen up through your spine. You can stay just as you are. You may already feel this in your outer hips. If you want a little bit more, breathe in. And then as you exhale, start to shift the weight of your torso forward just enough so that you start to feel it in your outer hips. You can use your hands on the ground to control how far forward that you come. So the more your torso comes forward, the more you're going to feel this in your hips. However, to get the most benefit from today's practice, once you feel that you've created tension somewhere in the body, then stay there and follow that sensation and be aware of the sensation. And then if the sensation dissipates, it goes away, you could bring your body further forward. So I'm going to stay here. You may be more upright than me, or you may be further folded forward than me. But now that you've found the first place where you feel sensation in your outer hips, or maybe in your low back, depending on your body, anchor your awareness back to your breath. So in today's practice, we'll hold each pose for a few minutes. And when I say hold, in these yin poses, we're not holding on for dear life. We're holding for time. So if you do feel like, wow, how much longer are we here? This is pretty intense. Come out of the pose a little bit so that you're able to stay in the pose and feel sensation in your body where you feel it, yet not want to run from it. It's in holding the pose for time that the fascia, in this case along the outsides of the legs and around your outer hips and low back, is allowed to start to reorganize, and after practice, that'll give your body more mobility at your hip joints. So inhale, come back up. Uncross your legs. I like to use my hands to give my body a little kindness to switch. And then extend your legs out long at first. And simply notice sensation in your body. So without any judgment, notice what's going on up and down your legs, around your hip joints, in your low back. And then we'll switch sides. So come to cross-legged again. This time, you're gonna either stack your shins parallel, your right shin in front of your left, or come to a square pose and stack your right ankle on top of your left thigh and then flex both feet. Allow your left shin to come parallel with the long edge of your mat. Again, feel like you're sitting right on the edge of the blanket so that your pelvis can start to rotate forward already. Now, when we come to a cross-legged position, we usually have a favorite side. So there's a good chance that now that we've switched sides, this side might be your tighter side, which is why it wasn't your preference to start with. So you may notice that this side is very different. Maybe your right knee wasn't up super high on your left knee wasn't up super high on the other side, but it is on this side, and that's okay. That's where you're starting to build body awareness and notice the differences in your body. And so bring your hands by your side again. Start to ground your seat into your mat. Press equally through the left and right side of your seat, and then elongate. Draw your belly button in and up and reach the top of your head to the ceiling. Keep this length you've created. Breathe in. And then exhale, hinge forward any amount. If this is very intense around your hips, you may stay seated upright, or you might start to fold forward. Remind yourself that this side's different than the other side, so the depth that you fold forward may not be the same. And then again, we'll stay here for time. So now that you've chosen your edge, that place where you feel it, yet you can stay for a few minutes, bring your awareness to the muscles of your legs, particularly your inner thighs and your outer hips. Are you gripping or holding on? Are you engaging the muscles? If so, send your awareness there and release the holding. Notice as you release the muscular holding, it's as if your bones can release a little bit. And then anchor your awareness on the breath for a moment. If you notice your breathing is smooth and even, you've probably chosen a perfect place to stay. If it's a little choppy, take your body upright a little bit to lessen the intensity. Now send your awareness to sensation in your body. Notice what it is you notice. If it helps, you can give a name to the sensation that you're feeling. Without a story and without judgment, a one-word name will do. And you can stay anchored with your awareness on that sensation. Or now that you've learned a little bit about your body, anchor your awareness back into your breathing. And then inhale, rise your body back up. You can use the help of your hands if you want. As you exhale, extend your legs forward, straight out in front of you. I'm going to turn to the side and stay seated up on your blanket. Extend both legs out in front. And again, notice what you notice in your legs. Do you feel any coolness, warmth, or energy running up and down your legs, around your outer hips, or in your low back? Simply take note of that. And then sitting up on the edge of the blanket, sit up nice and tall. Relax the muscles of your feet, ankles, and legs. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, come into caterpillar pose. At first, hinge right at your hip crease till you feel tension in the backs of your legs or in your low back. And then once you feel that tension, if it's okay for your spine and it feels all right, you can start to round your spine and drop your head. As many of you know, with diffuse spine, I don't round much. So allow your body to round as it likes to round. And if for some reason folding forward isn't appropriate for your body today, come down onto your back and instead draw your knees into your chest. You can stay there for the pose, which would be an upside down child's pose variation. That'll help you create length along your spine and start to warm up around your hips. For those of you folded forward, let there be a soft bend in your elbows. Let your hands relax. You might want to turn your palms to face the ceiling. And then let your arms relax and drape away from your shoulder sockets. And now send the awareness to sensation in your body. Start down at your feet. Notice if you're tensing through your toes or your ankles. If you are, let the muscles relax. Check in with your calves and shins. Relax the muscles around your knees. Release muscular tension in your quads, the tops of your thighs, and your hamstrings, the backs of your legs. And then send your awareness back to your breath. Re-anchor on your breathing. And then imagine in your mind's eye that on each exhale, your body melts forward a little bit more. That each exhale is able to provide a sense of relief. And maybe the body actually goes forward all on its own without effort. Or maybe you stay just as you are, simply imagining the body opening up and letting go. So caterpillar pose is opening up the whole back line of your body, from the backs of your heels, through the backs of your calves, hamstrings, along the whole length of your spine. But it's all right. Allow your head to drop. Press your hands down into the mat now as you inhale. Reverse direction. Come back up just the opposite way you came in. Allow a soft smile to grace your face. And then take yourself off the blanket and come all the way down to the mat. Have your blanket handy. We'll use it a little bit later. So once you come all the way down to the floor, lay flat down on your back and become a pencil. Extend your legs long, reach your arms up and overhead. And then banana asana. Walk your legs over to the left side. And then walk your upper body over to the left side so you're shaped like a banana. You can keep your arms straight up overhead or hold on to opposite wrists. Even opposite elbows. It's okay if your forearms are up in the air. This will help start to open up around the shoulders. Now your banana may be fine just as it is, and it may be a little straight, and maybe a very curvy banana, but allow your hips, the back of your pelvis, to anchor to the floor, and then the curves to initiate from there with your feet walking over to the left side, your shoulders walking over to the left. And you can even gaze over to the left to start to open up the right side of your neck slightly. If you'd like to target your IT band, the band of fascia on the outside of your thigh a little more, cross your right ankle over your left, knowing that you could always place both feet back down on the floor if that didn't serve the purpose of this pose for you today. And then send your awareness back to your breathing. Begin to count the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. And then count the length of your inhale. And let the length of your exhale be just as long as the length of your inhale. And then practice that on your own, breathing in and breathing out for the same length of time. On your next inhale, walk your legs back to center. Walk your upper body back to center. If your arms need a break, you can relax them down by your side for a moment. And when you're ready, set up banana asana on the second side. With your hips grounded on your mat, walk your legs over to the right side. And then walk your upper body over to the left side. Nope, walk your upper body over to the right side too. And then if you have your forearms, put the opposite forearm on top this time. You can gaze straight up to keep your neck neutral, or take a gentle gaze to the right to open up the left side of your neck. As you anchor the back of your hips on the floor, this will create a grounding point so you can start to open up the whole side seam on the left side of your body. Again, you have the option to cross your left ankle this time over your right. You want to intensify the feeling of tension along the outside of your left thigh. And then settle, relax your body into the shape. Release any muscular holding. And let the shape, time, and gravity be what opens you up here. And then send your awareness to your breathing. With mindful awareness of your breath, count the length of the inhale. And then see if the length of the exhale is just as long as the inhale. Go a few breaths on your own, creating this equal breathing, samavriti. Breathing in for just as long as you're breathing out. Using equal breathing can start to calm the nervous system while keeping you energized at the same time. So I do appreciate it's the middle of the day or even the morning for some of you. So we'll use equal breathing to have this refreshed, renewed, yet calm sense after practice. On your next inhale, walk your body back to center. Walk your shoulders back to center. Find your pencil again. And then release your arms by your side. You may want to stay laying flat, or you might want to bend your knees. Your choice. And then again, bring awareness to your body. What do you notice when you come out of the pose? You're taking a gentle side bend to open up the left and right side seams. And then we'll move to supported bridge. So grab your blanket. Some of you may want to start on the lowest height of your blanket, so just a few inches high. Others of you may want to fold your blanket in half. Now I know for my body I can fold my blanket in half, and this height is okay for me. So the first time you're doing this, you may want to try with the lower blanket and then go with the higher height. So set your feet your hip distance apart, press your feet firmly down into the ground, and then inhale, lift your hips up and slide your blanket right back behind your pelvis. So rather than have it supported by your low back, have it supported by your sacrum and the back of your pelvis. And then relax your arms by your side, and you can stay right here and focus on your breathing for the next few moments. Or, if you want a little bit more, start to walk your legs away from you. Now you may still have a bend in your legs as you walk your legs further away. That feels good. You may want to walk your feet even further away from you. And then some of you may want to take your legs all the way straight and let the back of your pelvis rest onto the blanket. So choose where you want to work. You may also stay with bent knees for the first minute and then play with walking your feet further away from you as you go. We're looking to counter sitting. So in sitting, our hip joints in flexion all the time. And now we're starting to take our hip joint into extension to open up the front line of the legs, the front line of the body, and also start to lengthen your psoas muscles. So your psoas muscles connecting the lower half of your body with the upper half of your body. You can stay just as you are, or if it feels good, you could take your arms straight up overhead behind you and rest them on the floor. Your choice. A lot of this practice is finding what works for you and appreciating what your body wants that day. So one day you may take a variation of the pose, and the next day you might take a different variation of the pose because that's what serves you best on that particular day. So send your awareness to your body. Where are you muscularly holding on? Can you send your awareness there and release the muscular tension? It may be in your feet or your hips, even your inner thighs or ankles. And if when you send the awareness there, you're not able to relax the muscles, back up a little bit. Maybe bend your knees a little more and walk your feet in closer. And if you've straightened your legs any amount, start to walk your feet back in with your knees bent. Firmly ground your feet into the ground, and then using your strength, inhale, pick your hips up, slide the blanket out of the way, And then as you exhale, lower down slowly. So some of the effect of this pose certainly gets felt as you come out of it. So once you've lowered down, you can stay with your knees bent, or if intuitively you're like, I would love to do this right now, please take that thing that you would love to do. And then notice how the body feels. When you're ready to move on, extend your arms out into a T, then cross your left leg over your right. If your SI joint's bothering you, stay together with bent knees instead of crossing your legs. If you're coming to twisted roots, cross your left leg over your right. Whether you've crossed your legs or you have bent knees, inhale, float your feet up off the floor. And then exhale, spinal twist to the left. Drop your legs over to the left side. Keep your arms out into a T. If the legs cross seems like a little much for you, feel free to bend your knees instead and drop them to the left. And then have the intention that the weight of your shoulders are going toward the floor without efforting them toward the floor. To begin to open up across the front of your chest and your neck, look over to your left thumb. And then send awareness to your breathing. Check in, see if your breathing is smooth and even. If it is, send your awareness to your body and notice sensation. If it's useful, give that sensation a name. And when you're comfortable with the sensation, bring your awareness back to your breathing. And then return your gaze to center. Inhale your legs back to center, uncross. Bring your feet back down to the floor as you exhale. Recenter your hips and set up for the other side. Keep both knees bent or move to twisted roots. Cross your right leg over your left. Inhale, float your legs up off the floor. And then exhale, twist to the right this time. Drop your legs over to the right. Have the intention that your shoulders are going toward the floor without efforting them there. And then look over to your right thumb. Bring awareness to your breathing. Relax any muscular holding in your body. And then inhale, bring your legs back to center and play with sensation. As you exhale, drop your legs over to the right, just as they are. This time, drop your legs over to the left, and then this time gaze to the right, away from your legs. How has sensation changed? What sensation can you bring awareness to in your body? Then inhale your legs back to center. If they're crossed, switch the crossed left leg on top. Breathe in at center. And then exhale, drop your legs over to the right into a twist. This time gaze to the left, over to your left thumb. And again, tap into sensation. Bring awareness to your body. Without judgment or saying this is very different than one side or why is this like this. Notice your sensation and give it a name if it's helpful. And then relax it and release the muscles. Let the shape open up the fascia of your body. Inhale your legs back to center. Uncrossed if you cross them. Inhale, lift your hips up a little bit. And then exhale, lower them back down. And we'll move into Shavasana. So if you'd like to take a rolled blanket underneath the backs of your thighs, just above your knees, that may be nice for your back. Or you can extend your legs straight out. We're going to rest legs flat down on your back. If you have a second blanket, you can cover your body up for a little warmth and grounding. And then once you've laid down, let the spacing between your legs be comfortable. Release your arms by your body. Allow your head to rest back. And then take one final scan. Release tension in the space between your eyes. Soften the skin of your cheeks. Separate your teeth. Allow the weight of your shoulders to drape to the floor below you. Give the weight of your arms and the backs of your hands to the earth. Soften through your abdomen. Let go and release through your low back and outer hips. Allow the muscles of your legs, ankles, and feet to relax. Allow your body to take in the last 30 minutes of practice. We'll rest here for a few moments, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Begin to wake your body back up. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees. You can roll over to your right side. Use your hands as a pillow. And begin to press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Find a cross-legged position. And bring your hands to heart center. And then pause for a moment. Thank yourself for the last 30 minutes, for connecting with your breath, bringing awareness back to your body, and taking time simply for you. Bring your thumbs to the place in between your eyebrows, your third eye center. We say together, Namaste.